Welcome back to Ego and Empathy, the podcast where we explore the psychology behind human behavior and the subtle ways it shapes our lives. I'm your host, Mandy, and today we're going to talk about a powerful and deeply emotional topic. One that lies at the heart of why so many people find themselves drawn, again and again, to narcissistic partners. Today we're exploring codependency, and why people who are codependent often find themselves caught in relationships with narcissists. At first glance, a codependent and a narcissist seem like opposites. One gives too much, the other takes too much. One avoids conflict to keep the peace. The other thrives on control and chaos. But together, they form a painful and magnetic dynamic. A cycle that feels like love, but is actually survival disguised as connection. To understand why this happens, we need to start with what codependency really means. It's not just about being kind or caring. It's about deriving your sense of worth from someone else's approval. It's about needing to be needed, because being needed feels safer than being rejected. For many codependents, love means sacrifice. It means fixing, rescuing, or overgiving. Because somewhere deep down, they learned that love is earned, not freely given. Most people who struggle with codependency didn't choose it consciously. It often begins in childhood. Maybe you had a parent who was unpredictable, emotionally unavailable, or critical. Maybe you learned to monitor their moods, to stay quiet when they were angry, to become helpful or invisible to keep the peace. That pattern taught your nervous system something powerful. That safety comes from managing other people's emotions. And when you grow up with that lesson, you unconsciously seek out relationships that feel the same. Enter the narcissist. To the codependent, they appear strong, confident, decisive. They radiate the certainty that the codependent never felt inside themselves. And to the narcissist, the codependent is perfect. Kind, loyal, forgiving, and willing to put someone else's needs first. It feels like a match made in heaven, until it becomes a cycle that drains the soul. In the beginning, the narcissist showers the codependent with affection and validation. It feels like all the love and recognition they've been missing. Finally, someone sees them, admires their goodness, and makes them feel special. But soon, the balance shifts. The narcissist starts to demand more, criticize more, withdraw affection when they don't get what they want. The codependent, terrified of losing love, works harder to please them. They apologize when they haven't done anything wrong. They take responsibility for the narcissist's moods, believing that if they can just love enough, the relationship will go back to how it was in the beginning. That's the trap. The narcissist keeps taking. The codependent keeps giving. And both are feeding a wound that neither has healed. For the narcissist, the wound is about control and superiority. For the codependent, it's about worth and belonging. Each is trying to soothe something broken using the other person as medicine. But the medicine becomes poison. So why does the codependent stay? Because leaving feels like failure. It feels like letting go of the one thing they were built to do, fix. They tell themselves, if I love harder, they'll change. If I'm more patient, they'll see who I really am. But here's the truth. You can't heal someone who benefits from your broken boundaries. And you can't save someone who doesn't believe they need saving. The journey out of codependency isn't about becoming cold or detached. It's about learning to give without losing yourself. It's about realizing that love doesn't have to hurt to be real. And that your worth isn't measured by how much you endure, but by how deeply you respect yourself. So how do you begin to break the pattern? First, acknowledge the cycle. See it clearly for what it is, not love, but imbalance. The moment you stop calling it love, you begin to free yourself from its hold. Second, start setting boundaries, even small ones. Say no to things that feel wrong, even if your voice shakes. Boundaries are not walls, they're filters. They protect your energy and help you recognize who respects you and who only wants to use you. Third, reconnect with your own needs. Ask yourself, what do I want, not what do they want from me? For codependents, this question can feel uncomfortable at first, because they're so used to focusing outward. But healing requires turning inward. Fourth, build self-trust. You've spent so long listening to others that you've forgotten how to hear yourself. Start small. When your intuition whispers, listen. When you feel uneasy around someone, don't explain it away. Your body often knows the truth before your mind catches up. And finally, practice self-compassion. Codependency isn't weakness, it's a survival strategy. It's something you developed when you were too young to know any other way. You don't have to hate yourself for what you needed to do to feel safe. You just have to learn a new way to love yourself now. When you start healing codependency, something beautiful happens. You stop attracting narcissists. Not because they disappear from the world, but because you no longer resonate with that dynamic. You stop seeking validation from people who can't give it. And you start giving that validation to yourself. And over time, love begins to feel different. It feels steady, mutual, peaceful. You realize that the kind of love you used to chase was never love at all, it was fear dressed up as devotion. So if you found yourself in narcissistic relationships again and again, don't judge yourself for it. Understand it. It means you were trying to heal something old. But the healing doesn't happen through another person. It happens through you. And maybe tonight, when things are quiet, you can ask yourself this simple question. What would my life look like if I stopped trying to earn love and started simply receiving it? See you soon.